This one is going to be a little bit weird. Thunderobot G80TS, or also known as the G80 Raicutter. I've been running into issues, and for that reason, I'm going to have a more surfacey review. This controller has a lot of cool things. I haven't been talking with Thunderobot, which is the maker. I've been talking with Mini XPC, and so I understand that they're probably limited with what they can help me with. And I did go to Thunderobot's website to see if I could have a manual firmware to hopefully try to fix some of the issues I've encountered with the controller. Sadly, it isn't the case. I reached out to other people that I know are really into controllers. They didn't have the experience that I have, so I guess I just happened to have an unlucky controller. I'm still able to use it in limited scenarios, so I'm gonna give you my feedback and my thoughts. This was sent by Mini XPC, so I do want to thank them for sending both the controller and the charging dock. If you're interested in getting these for yourselves, you'll have a link in the description where you can acquire them both. They sent me the white model. They also have a black one. You have a replacement D-pad, a dongle, a manual, almost looks like a card for points, a very small manual for the dock, USB-A to USB-C cable, the dock itself, an RGB light at the bottom. You can use this to connect the controller as well. The dock will charge your controller, but it'll also be used to be able to plug the dongle. I guess there is probably light to let you know the status, and this shines. The issues I've been having are really two things. One, when changing modes, at times the controller just goes wild, it goes crazy.
The other person could be second. I'm always talking to the person I like before I act. They might not think the same way though.
Every 15 minutes it just gets worse. This is the worst it's been. It's just going crazy. Unresponsive completely.
But I think it's right for you to just go ahead and...
I don't know if that reflects in terms of latency, in terms of polling, in terms of just functionality as a whole. The other thing that happens is I simply cannot get this controller to connect to the app because it does have a software companion key linker. No matter what I do, it does not show up. Factory reset, I tried the reset pinhole, there was just no solution to hopefully try and fix this. I reached out to Mini XPC. Mini XPC asked for a video. I supplied a video. Yeah, I was just not able to fix that issue. I tried even going away from my home in case it was connecting with another device, and you know, being in my car very far away from my home and hoping it would show up in the app, and it didn't either. So I don't know what it is. For some reason that's just not happening. Anyways, let's go over all the different things with this controller outside of the dock, the cable, and the replacement D-pad that comes included. We have membrane buttons that are glossy and finish. I like the feeling of the button. So if you like membrane, if you like a button that feels more traditional, that's definitely what we have here. Think Xbox controller. We have a fairly short tactile style D-pad. It has zero pivot at all. It doesn't move, not even a little bit. And if I remove the module here, this is what we have underneath, which in itself is a system I have never seen before. It's essentially a disc that is over the D-pad, and this is that entire disc that clicks in the different directions. I kind of like this D-pad a little bit more. It could potentially be a little more challenging for your thumbs if you roll a lot, but as far as the shape goes, the way that it's pushed up at the up arrow is kind of different. I don't mind it. It's definitely not something I've seen, at least before. I don't think I have. The sticks are TMR and they have tension adjustments. And one thing I like with this tension style is, contrary to something like the Apex 4, for example, that you can just keep on twisting and twisting. Here, there's a limit. There's a minimum and there's a maximum. I'll put the tension strength on screen. You can adjust between these two measures to whatever you want. Tactile bumpers that clicks from pretty much everywhere. Hall effect triggers that also have hair triggers, but the hair trigger that we have here is not a button, be it tactile or micro switch. It's really just a distance shortened addressed in software and operation. There's not really dampening. When it comes to the grip, you do have texture here in the back. It doesn't continue to the front. The front is, I wouldn't call it smooth. It's kind of like eggshell, grippy enough, but not so much that you would feel a texture like you do with the grips. Back buttons, I would assume that they're also tactile, but they have a feel more aligned to a micro switch. However, I don't believe that it is one. I just believe it's probably a dome that is a little bit higher. Home button, your select, start, capture, end mode, because you have, like many third-party Chinese controllers, you know, you have things like macro and turbo, which can be addressed on the app. I believe there's also shortcuts. If you were to get that controller for yourself, you can always rely on the manual to check these things out. There's one very specific and super cool feature that you probably noticed and asked yourself, what the heck is this thing right here? And to show you that, I'm gonna hopefully power the control. Oh, and I guess I forgot, you also have modes. You have Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz, and Nintendo Switch. And I think it's gonna connect, hopefully. It's inconsistent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so it did. So you know what? I'll use that as an opportunity to at least get into a game and use it. But the one thing I wanted to show you is here, you'll notice that the colors match the Xbox layout in terms of the RGB. What this does is similar to what Gamester did with the Tarantula, but it's a manual switch. When you do that, it flips to a Nintendo layout. You don't have a whole lot of controllers that gives you either something that is semi-automatic, or in this case something manual, but it's still mechanical. It's a mechanical change, as opposed to something where sometimes you'll have magnetic buttons that you can swap. Here it is absolutely mechanical. You get to address it the way that you see fit. Here's another, like, you see this, the B10, it's showing me as if the button is consistently being pushed. I don't know why. Look, this controller it's acting up on me. Anyways, so if I hold A, what happens if I slide it at the same time? So it does change the value. So they also implemented that in that feature. That's pretty cool. That's a very, very cool touch. If you want to see the triggers, they're fully gradual. And if I put the hair trigger, you'll notice that now it just jumps from 0 to 100. The vibration is kind of unique. I wouldn't call it HD rumble, but I also would not call it your regular rotary motors. They call it double engine vibration adaptive voice coil vibration. The closest that I could describe this rumble, but it's also not quite that, is if you've experienced the maglev motors from GoalyKit's controllers, when you engage both the HD rumble and rotary motors at the same time. It feels similar to that, but on GoalyKit's controllers, it's like you feel the two motors, the two different types of motors acting at the same time. Here it feels like just one specific motor that kind of brings both sensations together. And it's a very, very interesting and compelling rumble that we have here. If it's not for the fact that my unit is defective, I feel like I would have loved it a lot. And especially as a reviewer, being able to review all these cool stuff, oftentimes the lines get blurred between products because they share 90% of their DNA, and there's a little 10% that we kind of have to lean on to distinguish one from the other. This controller does more to stand out of the mass. The sticks do seem good. I have very low tension right now. I could probably increase it a little bit. They feel like I'm not touching anything. They really, especially when you lower the tension, it feels like it's floating in space. Now, unfortunately, because my button is stuck, I cannot run. That is not the nicest thing. TMR sticks are very nice to have, but without the ability to get in the app to calibrate them or do things like address the curve or, you know, look at things that would help me understand if I'm on a linear setting or how to achieve potentially a linear more impression, it's very hard for me to get a full statement on those sticks. But they seem nice. You know, from what I'm experiencing here, I see the potential. They don't seem to have your typical Hall effect jitter. Like, it's hard to say if you know, they're a stick that I could put up against something like a G7 Pro for aiming. I don't think so, because Gamester, when it comes to tweaking their sticks, they're really hard to beat in comparison to many other brands out there. And maybe Thunderobot, like, it's really my first Thunderobot controller, if I'm being honest. So I don't know if they're good in that regard, like Fly-Digi are also, for example. The grip itself, the handle portion of the controller are a little extra pronounced. I don't know about the back buttons. I don't think they feel super nice in terms of just convenience. I feel like this controller could have benefited from having the ability to lock the back buttons, but they don't bother me per se. I mean, oh man, I hate that I can't run. I've been playing on the Switch, but I also have it on PC, and I just realized on that save game I still don't have the thing to float away. But I'm still with that impressed. The D-pad is feeling quite responsive. However, I'm not liking the feel of it. The plastic, it's kind of slippery, which would easily be addressed with, you know, maybe some kind of stickers to put on top. I do like how easy and responsive and quick that it is, especially to go from left to right. I see the potential there. If anything, I would just want to address the sensation of that D-pad. It's almost giving me an uneasy feeling on my thumb. I really don't... Wait, let me see if the other one feels the same, because I'm really disliking the feel, at least of this one. Not the shape. The shape is actually quite pleasant. Just really the feel. It's like my skin is not liking how it feels. Now this one too. I don't know if I can have you guys hear that 1 second. It feels weird. I really don't like the feel. And they're both the same, by the way. They both feel like that. But they're not unpleasant in usage. It's not a full test, so it's hard for me to give a full assessment. But I feel like these could potentially rival even the tactile D-pads I've been having from recent 8BitDo controllers. Past that, you don't have like a faceplate that you can remove or anything like that. And it comes in white and black, and I don't know if I mentioned it. It is currently on Mini XPC, at least the controller, the dock. I'm not sure about the price, but you can find it on their website, link in the description. But the controller itself usually retails for 80 US on Mini XPC. It's going right now on sale for 60, and we concentrate on what this has to offer. I really like the package deal here. I like that you have all those features, that you have tension adjustments, that you have TMR. And, you know, not my favorite hair triggers, but you still have them, and you still have 2 extra buttons, and you still have an app when it works. So all that for 60, it is actually in the recent years one of the better price proposition, value proposition. It's just so unfortunate that I'm having the issues that I have. Granted, the dock is not included. I like that you also have RGB status. I like it. I like it, especially at 60 USD. I think it has great potential. If you do buy from Mini XPC, they have a great warranty for replacement. Truly, I don't know, so I would advise that you check on this website in case you run into the same situation that I have. But assuming that they'll take care of you, I would take a gamble on this. I think it's a controller many people that watch my videos would like and would appreciate for a lot of different reasons. Not a perfect option, but a great option nonetheless. It works on Switch and PC, and therefore Android and iOS as well. You should have great compatibility and great coverage also. Thank you Mini XPC for sending me one. Sorry that I couldn't produce my usual review and that we couldn't get this one fixed. I hope it brings some value somehow. Again, truly my apologies to you all. I wish I could have brought you my usual thing, but I guess that'll have to be on the next one. If you have any questions, you know what to do, and consider leaving a like and a subscribe if you've never been to the channel and do not want to miss any future content. My name is Clef. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.